Hello everybody, welcome to the first YouTube video of Trains for All. I'm so excited. I finally moved to YouTube and we're finally doing YouTube videos. So today is actually Japan's high-speed rail, all the parts of it. So parts 1 to 3. Let's just get started. Introduction to the rail link. The Japanese high-speed rail link is the second largest high-speed rail link in the world after China. It is also the oldest high-speed rail link, opening all the way back in 1964, and the latest line will be opening in 2030. The rail reaches all corners of the country, including Hokkaido as well. And in today's video, I will tell you about the history of the rail and many more things. Where it all started. The Japanese high-speed rail link first opened in 1964 by the company that is currently named JR Central. The line went from Tokyo through Yokohama and Kyoto before arriving at Osaka. The stops included Tokyo, Yokohama, Ozawara, Atami, Mishima, Shinfuji, Shizuoka, Kagagawa, Hamamatsu, Toyohashi, Mikawa Anjo, Nagoya, Gifu Hashima, Maibara, Kyoto, and Osaka. The first Shinkansen train started operation 56 years ago on the 1st of October 1964. It was called the Zero Series Shinkansen. Sadly, these trains have been retired since 2008 and none remain in operation. However, 27 of them have been preserved. So as you can see, this is the Tokaido line. So this is Osaka and this is Tokyo. So if you see, this is the Choi Shinkansen. I'll talk about that at the very end of the video, but just don't worry about that. This is the current Tokaido Shinkansen line, and that goes from Tokyo to Osaka. Shinkansen trains. Now that you know where the whole rail link started, let's see the trains that it used over the years. First up, we have the Zero Series Shinkansen. This train started operation when the high-speed rail link opened in 1964 and ended its service in 2008. They were all white like this, with glass in the middle and a square-like nose at the front. Next, we have the 100 series. The 100 series train started operation in 1985 and left service just back in 2012. They were constructed in 1984 till 1992 and refurbished between 2000 and 2004. Something strange that happened was that they started scrapping the trains between 1999 and 2012, which is a year before they started refurbishing the trains. How does that make sense? The last train I will describe, though, will be the 200 series Shinkansen. They started service earlier than the 100 series and started in 1982. They ended their service in 2013. They were refurbished between 1999 and 2002 and mainly served on the Tohoku line, which ran from Tokyo to Osaka. This one here. Okay, I'll talk about the other trains in a different part of the video. The second line. The second line is the Sanyo line. It opened between 1972 and 1975. It runs between Osaka and Hakata, which is here and here. So this is the Sanyo line. It runs between, the stops include Shin Osaka, Shin Kobe, Nishiakashi, Himeji, Aoi, Okoyama, Shin Kurashiki, Fukuyama, Shin Onomichi, Mihara, Higashi Hiroshima, Shin Iwakuni, Tokoyama, Shin Yamaguchi, Asa, Shin Shimaneski, Kokura, and Hakata. The line is currently run by JR West, and the first series of train to run on the line was as well the Zero series. And currently on the line serves the 500 series, 700 series, and N700 series. The third line, the Tohoku line. The next line to open was the Tohoku Shinkansen line, which is this large line over here. This line, it is a bit complex. It's a bit confusing because a lot of other lines are coming out of it. You've got the Joetsu Shinkansen, you've got the Hokuriku Shinkansen, you've got the Yamagata Shinkansen, and you've got the Akita Shinkansen. It runs from Tokyo to Shin Aomori, which is the last station before moving to Hokkaido. The stations include Tokyo, Ueno, Omiya, Oyama, Utsunomiya, Nasu Shiobara, Shin Shirakawa, Koriyama, Fukushima, Shiroshizao, Sendai, Furukawa, Kurokoma Kogen, Ichineski, Muzusawa Esashi, Kitakami, Shin Hanamaki, Morioka, Iwata, Kunai, Nihone, Hachi Nihone, Shichi Nihone, Towada, and Shin Aomori. The line opened between 1982 and 2010. In 1982, the line opened from Tokyo to Morika, which is from here to here. And other lines like the Joetsu line and the 2 mini Shinkansen lines opened before it got extended all the way to Shin Aomori in 2010. The fourth line, the Joetsu line. The fourth line to open is the Joetsu Shinkansen. This line is a pretty small line and it runs from Omiya to Nagata. So here is Omiya and here is Nagata, so that's where it runs to. The line goes from Omiya to Takasaki and then takes a turn and goes up until it reaches the shore of Niigata. The stations are Takasaki, Jomo Kogen, Ishigo Yuzawa, Urasha, Nagaoka, Tsusanbe, and Niigata. It opened all at once in 1982, as well as the third line, the Tohoku line, and uses the track of the Tohoku line until Omiya. It is a pretty busy line and has an annual ridership of 35 million people. The fifth line, the Hokuriku line, which is from here to here. The fifth line to open is the Hokuriku line. This is also a very confusing line. If you look at the map below, you will see that it is in 2 colors. This is because the line is operated by both JR East and West. So from here to here is a Hokuriku line. So on the map, it's blue and green, which confuses many people. So this is the JR West part of the line, and this is the JR East part of the line. And this little tiny area here is Takasaki, which goes up to Niigata, and that's the Joetsu Shinkansen. And if you keep on going, you go to the Hokuriku Shinkansen. It runs between Takasaki and Kanazawa. It opened between 1997 and 2015. It took the longest to open so far, and it is the longest line in Japan. This is a line as it is used. This line is as used as the others, but it will be extended all the way down to Kyoto and Osaka. With the new extension, the line might reach the 500 kilometer mark, meaning that the track is 500 kilometers long from one station to the other. The stations are Takasaki, Anaka Haruna, Karuizawa, Sakudaira, Ueda, Nagano, Iyama, Joetsu, Itogawa, Kurobe Onsen, Toyama, Shintakoaka, and Kanazawa. The sixth line, the Kyushu line, which is this red line here. The sixth line to open is the newest line, opening between 2004 and 2011. The line runs from Hakata all the way to Kagoshima. A new route on this line will also be opening to Nagasaki, which is this tiny little red line over here. The stations on the first route include Hakata, Shintosu, Kurume, Chigoku Fungakoya, Shin Omuta, Shin Tamana, Kumamoto, Yatsushiro, Shin Minamata, Izumi, Sendai, and Kagoshima. The Nagasaki route is a very short one. The stations are Takao Onsen, Orishino Onsen, Shin Omura, Ishaya, and Nagasaki. The first part from Kagoshima was opened in 2004 and then connected to Hakata in 2015. So it opened like this and then connected to the rest of the network, which is kind of weird. Okay, so now we're on to the trains part of the episode. So at the start of the episode, I told you about the first 3 trains, which was the 0 series, the 100 series, and the 200 series. Now I'll start from the 300 series. The 300 series was first introduced in 1992. They were constructed between 1990 and 1998, and they scrapped the trains between 2007 and 2012. This image is actually not the 300 series. The last one ended its service that year. These trains actually replaced the 100 series and ran on the first 2 lines that opened, the Sanyo and Tokaido lines. Next is the 400 series, which is this one. This is a very stylish train. It had a pointy green nose and a green stripe along the body. They came into operation only 4 months after the 300 series and got scrapped in 2010. It was used in the Yamagata Mini Shinkansen line. They were constructed from 1992 to 1995, got refurbished between 1999 and 2001, and got scrapped between 2008 and 2010. They served a good life, and by far this is one of my favorite high-speed rail trains I've ever seen, because personally my favorite color is green. The next series is the 500 series. This train only ran on the Sanyo line. It came into service replacing the 0 series and started operation in 1997. It is still in operation to this day. The train got built between 1995 and 1998. Sadly, only 9 of these trains have ever been made, but they have some of the coolest liveries I've seen on a train. And that is this train right here, this one. So this is actually one of the unique liveries that they have. Let's move on to the 0 to 9 series of the E series. The next train is the E5 series. If you have ever been or lived in Japan, you have seen this train. It's actually this one. So this is the green train, the E5 train. It has a weirdly shaped nose and is a green train. I'm not quite fond of it, even though it is a green train. But yeah, when I was in Kyoto, the Kyoto Rail Museum in 2017, it was all over the place because it just got launched. They started operation in 2011, starting construction from 2009 till now, and haven't been refurbished yet. They're used on the Tohoku and Hokkaido Shinkansen lines. Upcoming project number 1, the Choi Line, which is this small line that I talked about earlier. This is my favorite line of all. This is my favorite line because it's powered by maglev. Maglev is a rail link that goes from Tokyo to Osaka. The line between Tokyo to Nagoya will open in 2027. It will then be extended to Osaka in 2045. The Tokyo to Nagoya part has been under construction since 2014, and the part to Osaka is still under planning. This maglev technology means that trains will be able to float on the track and go to speeds of up to 800 kilometers an hour. Instead of waiting 2.5 hours to use the Hokkaido line, the Choi line will take just 67 minutes. The line will cost $67 billion to the Japanese government for only 290 kilometers of track. That's the track only to Nagoya, halfway. And so this is the Tokyo to Nagoya part, and this is the part that's still under planning. Upcoming project number 2, the Hokkaido line. The Hokkaido line is another upcoming project. This is a half-half project because the first part is already open. This part of the line goes from Shin Aomori, which I talked about earlier, to Shin Hakodate, which is right over here. And it opened in 2016. The second part of the line will go from Hakodate to Sapporo, which is the main city of Hokkaido. This part of the line is the latest line to open and will open in 2030. I told you about the E5 series train before, and this is the train that will be used on the Hokkaido line. This train will be mainly used on this line, and is why JR, the Japanese rail company, will make the trains in the first place. That's all that we've got. So, here are all my trains that I had today. I hope you really enjoyed what I have created for you today. I'm so sorry that it took quite long, but I really, really hope you enjoy it. Remember to subscribe, like, and share this video with all your friends and family, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!